Brought to you by Penguin.
The Golf 100, written and read by Michael Arkush.
To Pauletta, my bride, my friend, my life. Author's note. In March 2022, I introduced myself to Jim Furyk at the Hogue Classic, a senior tour event in Newport Beach, California, sharing with him my idea to rank the top 100 golfers, men and women of all time. Memo to PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan. Get rid of the name PGA Tour Champions. Not every member of the tour, and I mean no disrespect, has been a champion. Furyk, the 2003 U.S. Open winner, didn't have much to say. Tough task, he told me. Gee, thanks a lot, Jim. About 3 hours later, as I was stuck in traffic on Interstate 405, one is always stuck in traffic on the 405, it dawned on me. This is not a tough task. This is an impossible task. I thought of the profound changes the game has undergone over the past 150 or so years, with better balls and clubs, more manicured courses, and, most significantly, the players themselves. Today's golfers employ extensive support groups, which include agents, managers, trainers, instructors, psychologists, hypnotists. I made the last one up, I think. How then could I stack up the accomplishments of old Tom Morris or young Tom Morris, who won multiple British Opens in the 1860s and 70s, against Tom Weiskopf, who starred in the 1960s and 70s, or compare Johnny Farrell, the 1928 U.S. Open champion, to Johnny Miller, the 1973 Open champion? Maybe I needed to give back my advance from the publisher and find another project. Or find a psychologist myself. It wouldn't be difficult. You can't go 2 blocks in Southern California where I live without running into one. Bobby Jones summed it up perfectly after Ben Hogan won the British Open in 1953. I think we must agree that all a man can do is beat the people who are around at the same time he is. He cannot win from those who came before any more than he can from those who may come afterward. Thanks, Bob. You're as helpful as Furyk. Even so, once I arrived home and glanced at the dozens of golf books and tattered magazines in my office, I stopped worrying about what Furyk or Jones thought. I was too curious, obsessed, my wife would say, to see which golfers would make the top 100, and in what order, and just as important, whom I would leave out. So now that I had decided to proceed, the question was how? From the start, it occurred to me that I needed a formula to measure the credentials of every potential candidate, to explain, for example, why I put Ernie Els ahead of Vijay Singh, or better yet, John Ball, a legendary English amateur, ahead of Rory McIlroy. One aspect of a player's career would be valued more than any other: how he or she performed in the game's biggest events, the majors. That's how, for the longest time, we have determined who the best golfers were, not by where they finished on the money list or, in recent decades, how they fared in the FedEx Cup playoffs. If God were to grant me one wish, it might just be to rid the world of the FedEx Cup. Rick Riley, the former Sports Illustrated writer, put it best when Fred Couples broke through the 1992 Masters. If he never did win a major, he would get thrown in the heap over there with Tom Kite, who would end his long drought 2 months later in the U.S. Open at Pebble Beach, and the rest of the very good players who got off the bus one stop short of greatness. The majors feature the strongest fields, and more often than not, are staged on the most demanding courses, when history is on the line. Thus, I chose to award a player 2,000 points for each major victory, 500 for second place, 250 for third, 100 for fourth, and 50 for fifth. A rather substantial gap, I know, between first and second, but that's how much emphasis I place as Tiger Woods.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?